Good morning. Hello. I believe it is Easter Monday, so they call it. So happy Easter to everybody and all out there. Welcome. I thought I would jump on live this morning. I felt compelled, as I very often do. P.S. If you're watching a video, look at my hair. Isn't it incredible? Just having this moment of I've been wearing it up in a bun overnight, and then I just pulled it out of my hair, and here is this hair. Amazing. Just thought I'd share with you my little hair pride for this morning. Good morning, Alison. I think that's who it is. So I'm just going to wait for a few more people to potentially jump online. Hey, Lara. Nice to have you here. Hey, everybody. Give me a like, a thumbs up, a hello if you can hear me, and good morning and all that jazz. Thanks, Alison. So nice to have you here. So yes, just going to wait a couple more minutes for a few more people a few more seconds. I tend to be a little impatient. Hey, Joni. Good morning. Happy Easter. Nice to have you here. Good morning. So yes, a bit of news. You may probably can't tell overly, but if we just have a look down there, there's no more human in my person. I did, Joni. Yes, indeed. In fact, probably around this time last week, I was sitting in an operating theatre getting a spinal tap to be able to have a cesarean delivery of my little surrobub. So good morning, everybody. So this time last week, I was getting prepared. I was getting prepared to bring life into this world, and in a very real, visceral way, very real, sitting in the operating theatre. They took them about half an hour to do the spinal. If anyone's ever had a spinal and an epidural combination situation, it doesn't normally take that long. And I used all of my mental power, all of my conditioning and my training of staying present and using my breath and all that jazz to be able to stay really focused in a moment whereby I had to stay super still. I had to be in a hunched over position while they attempted to put a needle in my back 4 times over. So it was pretty full on. It's pretty full on. But I share with you here today the most, magical and profound experience of my life. And I've done some pretty wild and amazing shit in my life. But yes, this time last week, I had the distinct honour of bringing a human into the world, of bringing a human and making 2 incredibly important people in my life parents for the first time, and making a family, not only for them, but also for me. So yes, super exciting to share with you all that I have had my little surrobub. He is in the world. Whether or not photos and all that kind of jazz come about is entirely up to the folks, entirely up to the parents. He's not my son, but he is an absolute angel sent from heaven, and everything went well. And I am no longer pregnant. So, the story from here, really, thank you for the hearts and the likes, everybody. I'm loving the support from here. The story from here is kind of a really interesting one, because, what happens to our bodies postpartum, for those women and people out there who have had a pregnancy, who have gone through a delivery of a child, the hormones, the insanity of our bodies is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm in such reverence of my body at the moment, despite the fact that it doesn't look the way that I feel like it should, or that the media is portraying me to feel like it should. These bodies of ours are absolutely phenomenal. And over the next coming months and however long, years or whatever, as this unfolds, I'm going to continue to share the journey of coming into even deeper love with myself as a result of this, even though the body doesn't look the way that I feel like it should, even though the body is... there's no excuse, so to speak. In the world, when you see a mum that's postpartum, she's got the baby with her. There seems to be some kind of acceptance of the fact that she has let herself go. And I hate all this language, by the way, but I'm just highlighting what happens in society. But to be able to come to a point whereby I don't have a baby. I don't have a child around me, so it just kind of looks like I'm out of shape. Which, you know what? This body is freaking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. This body made a human, delivered a human, and a week ago, yes, as I said, in a very short period of time, I was being cut wide open to bring a gorgeous little human into the world. And as I kind of sat here, as I woke up this morning, a whole bunch of insights and stuff came through to me in regards to this, in regards to how much we might want something in our lives. Because this journey for us and the parents of this beautiful boy started many, many, many years ago. About 4 years ago, I was having a lot of problems. I have always had a lot of problems with my periods and such, and I remember seeing a gynecologist, and the gynecologist says to me, "Look, the only way that we can stop your bleeding is by having a hysterectomy." And I must have only been in my early 30s at the time, and I thought, well, I don't want my own kids. That maybe is a good option. A little while later, I was visiting my dear friends, and I said, "Hey, by the way, you might want to use my uterus before I get rid of it." And this started the journey. 3.5 years it's taken for us to get to this point where there's a live human. 3.5 years of multiple surgeries that I've needed to have, of critical conditions in terms of my health. We needed approval. It was a long, arduous, hard process to get to a point to which we could even transfer a little embryo into my body. And at times it was devastating. At times it was absolutely gut-wrenching, and at times we just thought we would never do it. Times we thought that it was never going to be possible to bring this human to life. And I distinctly remember having a moment where I said to the parents, the intended parents, I said to each of them, I said, "I think that maybe we need to consider that this isn't going to work." This was before the very last round that we just did. And I surrendered it. I can come into complete surrender. I thought, I can't control whether or not this is going to work, whether or not my body is going to accept this, whether or not the timing of the universe is right. I can't control that. And I finally let it go entirely. I was like, maybe it's just not meant for me. Maybe that's just not going to happen. And I trusted in the universe completely in that moment. And strangely enough, just a few days later, we were able to transfer little Bubba into my tummy, and 9 months later we created a human. And I just, what came through for me this morning is about trusting in the universe, and not because all the trust in the world is going to get you what you want. It's just not. Okay, this is not a conversation about going, if I just trust, then I'm going to get everything that my mind desires, everything that my brain wishes. Hey Leo, welcome. If I, the idea that the concept that if we just trust the universe and surrender everything, that we're going to get everything that we want, is just not actually accurate. I can't say as to whether or not the universe gave me this baby because I wanted it so badly. Because there's been many things in my life, and give me a shout out, a thumbs up, a comment if you have ever wanted something really badly in your life and had to let it go and it didn't happen. It goes to show that the universe doesn't always give us what we want. That's not how this works, and it's not where I'm going with this conversation. It's not a conversation where I'm like, you know what, if you just let go, then every one of your desires comes to fruition. It's not true. I say that with the utmost respect and love to all of us, because we all have experienced things in our life that we don't want. People have died, we have gotten sick, people that we love have left us, we have had to leave people that we love. The circumstances of our life very rarely go the way in which we actually want them to. But here's the kicker. Here's what I really want to share with you in what I feel like is today's transmission, because the universe will always give you what you need, irrelevant of whether or not you want it. Irrelevant of if you want it, or whether or not you think it's the best thing for you, or whether or not the circumstances are favourable, you will always get what is in the highest evolution of you. This is how the universe works. This is how the world works for us. Because the mind wants to control everything. Everything. I watched my mind do it at 2:30 this morning. I woke up full of anxiety going, what am I going to do with my life now? I finished having a baby. What's going to happen now? What's going to happen with my business? I need to make it sustainable. Seriously, 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning, my mind is going bonkers, wanting to control everything. And I calmed myself down, because I know within my heart of hearts that our mind will always want to control the circumstances. Our mind 100% wants control and thinks that it can get it. Here's the thing. The difference between our mind, which is our ego, our small self, and our heart, which is our soul and our big self, is your know. Oh, I think I just lost service for a second there, but I think we're back. But the mind wants control. The mind wants us to control absolutely everything, and it can't comprehend anything but itself. It's so small within its head that it thinks that it's just here. It thinks that it can control everything around it. It wants certainty. It thinks that if it just plans everything to a T, then it's going to come to a point to which it will have complete certainty over the world. The thing is that the truth of it is that we can't. The universe doesn't work that way. The only guarantee that we have is that everything changes. There's no certainty, and that might come as a really uncomfortable truth for a bunch of you, for a bunch of us. It's uncomfortable for me too. Our mind can't comprehend the fact that there is no such thing as external certainty. It just doesn't exist. Everything changes, and everything changes in a heartbeat. Can't do much about that at all. But what we can do is live from our hearts. What we can do is live from a space where we trust the universe, in a sense that it will always give us what we need. Not what we want, not what we desire, but what we need. And it will happen in the exact timing to which it needs to. This is what true surrender and true trust is all about. It's not about getting what you want. It's not about having all your desires and all your wishes come true and all your dreams come true. That's not how the universe works. The way that the universe works is that we must surrender completely to, and I don't even say I say a higher power, but that doesn't have to mean externally. Externally, it doesn't have to be external to us. Your higher power can be the biggest part of you within you. For some of you, it's God. For some of you, it's nature. For some of you, it's the universe, it's source, it's Buddha. It feels external. Really, what it is about the highest part of us. We are interconnected, we are interwoven. Our mind likes to think that we are separate, that we are individuals, because we are from a really human point of view, but from a galactic kind of universal point of view, we are all infinitely connected. The whole thing, the whole atmosphere, everything is connected. And so we are not just this one individual organism as me, Luna, sitting in front of you. We are a collection, and it is an environment. It is a creation of, there's a word that I'm looking for, and tell me if it is, like the ecosystem. That's the word I'm looking for. We are an ecosystem, and we are part of it. We are in it. We are of it. We are it itself. And so surrendering to our higher selves is the only way for us to actually come to a place of peace and harmony internally. And that requires us to stop living from the mind and live from the heart. It requires us to actually slow down and let the mind take a frickin' break. Every morning and night lately I've been sharing this prayer that comes from Rumi, and it is, I give my heart permission to lead this dance. I give my mind some time off. No more worry or doubt, no more planning, resisting and control. Instead I open, instead I allow. Instead I surrender, I allow, and all unfolds with divine timing, perfection and the miracle of grace. So be it. I just want you to feel that transmission for a moment. Feel the depth of that level of surrender. I understand that surrender can feel really challenging. Surrender can feel extremely hard because we feel like we're giving up. We feel like we're disempowering ourselves by going, if I just hand everything over to the highest part of me, or to source, universe, whatever you want to call it, then how am I empowered? Because I'm not taking any charge of my life. I'm not in control. I'm not making any effort towards my dreams and my hopes. It's not about that. The only things that we truly can control are our actions, our beliefs, our thoughts, and our reactions to the world. They're the only things that we can actually control. We can control our state of being. That's what we have power over. And when we can control our state of being, surrender the rest to the universe, then we have far more capacity for peace, for contentment. And I don't know about you, and this may be like just going way woo-woo. I have a dream at some point in time that maybe the world can come to some kind of level of peace. But I also know 100% that the only way for us to do that is to become internally peaceful. The only way. And so we will never see peace on the outside until we know peace on the inside. If we're in conflict, if we have pain within ourselves that we are not recognizing, if we are at war within ourselves, how can we possibly stop being at war with each other? We do not know what peace is. Just going to breathe that in for a moment. It was good stuff. The only certainty is change. That's the only certainty in this world. Whether or not this baby was going to come to life was never up to me. It was never up to me. 3.5 years, a lifetime of friendship. I've been friends with one of the parents since I was 14. And I was in love with him. I was in love with him, and I thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. And I wanted us to get married and go off and have babies at some point in time at my 14-year-old self. Turns out I'm not the team that he bats for. So he became my bestie. And, 20 odd years later, I had his baby. How does that come to fruition? How do we maintain a friendship for that long? It's as if I always was going to have his baby. But I didn't know when, I didn't know how, I didn't know that if it was even going to happen. It wasn't up to me. What's up to me is how I see the world. What's up to me is my relationship with myself. And when I say myself, I mean both my human self, my physical body, but also my higher self, the spirit within me, the highest universe evolution of that. That is my responsibility. The outcomes we can never control, ever. You can do the same thing on repeat every single time, get the same outcome 1,000,000 times, and then it doesn't happen one day. Why? We don't know. Yeah, because circumstances change. The universe is constantly changing. Our lives are constantly in motion. There is no certainty but the certainty that we create within ourselves. And this is true trust and surrender. To trust, surrender, accept with love and gratitude that everything that is meant for you, that you need for your highest evolution, will happen. And it will happen in the timing to which it does. You can't control that part either. You don't know that it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. And the best that we can do is surrender in peace and trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to, irrelevant of whether or not the circumstances are favourable. And that's a clincher here. It's not always going to be nice. It's not always going to be wonderful. You're not always going to like the circumstances. Yes, I'm very grateful that I got to the point where I got to grow this human and then now he exists in the world. That's amazing. It's magical. But not everything goes our way. It doesn't work that way. I have a serious health condition. I have had, my brother die 10 years ago. I didn't want that to happen. That wasn't pleasant. I left a 10-year relationship 18 months ago that broke my heart into so many pieces that I don't even know who I am anymore. I had to leave the love of my life in order to go and be happy. Seems so weird, doesn't it? The circumstances aren't always favourable, but they are always in our highest interest. They will always serve us. Irrelevant of what happens in the world, the universe is conspiring for your individual success, not from your mind, not from getting your dreams and your desires, but getting the truth of what you need in your existence. Your highest evolution awaits you. It's happening, it's unfolding, you can't do anything about it. It's happening already, and the best that we can do is really come into peace and contentment, knowing within our hearts of hearts that the universe has got our back. Yeah, Mary, for sure, the circumstances are not always comfortable. And not even just not like comfortable, sometimes they're downright fucking awful, like horrible, disgusting, absolutely abhorrent. Sometimes the circumstances are. Sometimes they're the worst things that have ever happened to us. The universe is working, conspiring to the highest needs, and it may sound cruel that really shit things happen to a lot of people, and I've been very blessed in my life. There's many people who suffer in ways that I cannot even begin to imagine, and that most of us can't even begin to imagine. I need for me to know that the universe is conspiring for our highest evolution, that we get what we need in our life, and the way in which we react to it, our thoughts, our beliefs, the things that we can control is internal, our state of being. And let the universe unfold as it does. Everything unfolds at the exact timing to which it needs to. We can't do anything else about it. Whether or not I was going to have this baby wasn't up to me. But it turns out that it did, and I'm thrilled. And there's a lot of my body's sad around that, and that's okay. There's some times ahead. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's not. The spinal tap was absolutely awful. My body's in recovery from giving birth to a child via cesarean section. It's hectic. But you know what? I trust that the universe has my back in terms of my highest evolution. Highest evolution, not my mind. Remember that. This is not about getting what your mind wants. This is about getting what your spirit needs beyond anything else. This is my message for Easter Monday for you. Well, it was for me. It downloaded to me, and I give it to you in hope that something has landed for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feelings, wherever you're at. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this live moment with me. I will post some photos of at least me, not my bubba to share, but I will post some partum pictures, if you'd call it that. But thank you for being here. It's been such an absolute joy. Angela, thank you. Just a pleasure. Thank you for being a part of this transmission, each and every single one of you. And may we learn to surrender. Oh, one more thing before I leave. It's a lifelong practice. It is a lifelong practice. This is hard. Do not underestimate how hard this is on a regular basis to practice this. Yeah, this is not something that comes easy. This is not like I'm sitting here going, oh my God, it's just so easy to surrender. No, my mind goes bananas as it did at 2 o'clock this morning, and I need to practice surrender. Almost every moment of every day, because my mind wants to control everything. This is a lifelong practice, not a destination, as Mary says. My love to you. Be well, look after yourselves, and may you live in surrender, trust, acceptance, love, and gratitude. Thanks for being here.